Hey guys, and welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe and I'm joined by Nathan, and today we're going to be talking about games that we love, but everyone else hates, dislikes, does not approve of, all under that umbrella. So that's what our subject is today. How you doing, Nate?
I'm good. I think we should probably change the title to something like Unpopular Gaming Opinions or something. It's probably shorter and easier to search.
Yeah?
SEO, man. SEO, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, cool. We'll put that as a title. May end up cutting that bit out of the intro.
No, leave it in. Leave it in.
Oh god, no.
Whichever one is editing, leave it
in. Oh god, okay. That's the thing. How are you doing, Nate?
I'm good. Unpopular gaming opinions. God, this is basically the episode where we like reveal how trash our opinions are. You know, like the kind of crap we've played.
Yeah, I mean, mine's very limited to basically anime games and Nintendo stuff. It's basically a summary of what my gaming habits are. So expect a few of them on my list. But yeah.
Mine are also sort of like tie-in games, sequels and things, so it should be interesting to say the least. Little like disclaimer, like preface, we've made our lists based off of Metacritic scores, 60 or under, but Metacritic also doesn't have every single game that ever existed, so there's probably some games we would have mentioned but forgot, and probably best to have forgotten because again, this is the episode about our trash taste. So
okay, cool. Do you want me to kick us off, Nathan?
Yeah, sure. If you if you want to like just break the seal, you know, open this trash taste can.
I'm gonna break the seal. I'm gonna start off right now with the lowest ranking score at all on my list. And funny enough, it's actually a game we've discussed before. It is Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22 on PS1.
Okay, I'm not surprised. I did see that, but I didn't put that on my list because I didn't enjoy that game.
Yeah, well, I did enjoy that game as a kid. It got on Metacritic, it got a score of 25.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It was low. That is like the lowest game that I've got on there. Because I was looking at these Metacritic scores. It's like these games, like there's a reason why I haven't played them. They're all quite trash. And then, funny enough, when I'm looking through all these trash games, there's a game that I do play that I actually kind of enjoyed. I mean, as we said in previous videos, I've played this game recently, and it's not the greatest game, not gonna lie. But just a quick summary if you haven't watched our video. Ultimate Battle 22 is Dragon Ball 2D fighter on the PlayStation. Goes from characters as young as Kid Goku up to Majin Buu and Super Buu. But like it is like I want to say it wasn't a bad game, but low-key I know it is. And we both discussed this before, and it's
and if you want to watch that episode, click on the iCard right now. Conveniently just appeared. Oh my god, look at that. Video magic.
Shameless plug.
Watch our other stuff.
But yes, I don't know what else I can really say on it because I did enjoy this as a kid. Like it's a bit harder for me to pick up now because it's not as like I'd have to plug my PS3 in and stuff or start up a PS1. But like I don't know, I enjoyed it. Maybe it's nostalgia goggles, but
okay. Well, I guess because you started with a PS1 game. I only have one PS1 game, and I've actually seen this game on many of like the X number of worst games, you know, of all time list. This game I've heard people often call the worst PlayStation 1 game to ever exist.
Okay, jeez.
As a kid, I used to play a game called World's Scariest Police Chases, and I had loads of fun with this game as a kid, even as a kid, I knew it was a garbage game. And right now, I know it's a garbage game, but I just have some weird nostalgia goggles for it. I think it was like a TV show tie-in game, and you could play single player or multiplayer, right? Local co-op. One person would drive and one person would shoot, but you only had so much ammo, and pretty much taking down any car was really hard. So player 2, who was the gunner, was basically useless after about 20 seconds, and you can't get more ammo, or at least I never figured out how to get more ammo. So player 2 would just sit there and like play with a little cursor on the screen whilst player 1 just drove around.
It kind of sounds like a game that like you'd play with like your little brother or something. And he's like, I want to play. And you're like, fine. Here, you can play the shooting thing. I'll do the main bit. while you do you do the bit that doesn't really count
The
for as much.
the thing is, right, I never ever got very far in that game, because I could never really take down any of the cars. So me and my friend would just drive around. We just take it in turns to drive to different parts of the map, fuck around for a bit, and then swap off.
Sounds like you just treat it like Crazy Taxi then.
Kind of, but it is a god awful game.
Yeah. Dear God. What was the score on that on Metacritic?
Oh, I didn't note that down. I didn't note any of the scores down, but
Yeah.
again, look it up. You'll see it. It is often on like a lot of the anyone who remembers it. It's often on like the worst games list.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Well, that's the PS1 choices then. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit, and I'm gonna go to a GameCube game that I loved,
Okay,
which is Pokemon Channel.
I never played it,
You never played it, so it's like I know you like you've probably heard of the premise of this. It's like a Hey You Pikachu. It's like you're just chilling with Pikachu basically.
but is it as fun? Do you get a little microphone and go, "Hey, Pikachu, Pikachu, the apple"?
No. Which is probably why it's not as high on this on Metacritic because it got a score of 55.
Okay, I was gonna say that's not bad, but that's just barely over half.
Yeah, it's barely over. This is a game like I think as a kid, I don't know whether it's because it's just 3D Pokemon at the time. If you got 3D Pokemon anything on a home console, you'd be loving it. Like it was just a time back then where like the mainline Pokemon games were just 2D. It was like red and blue, gold, silver, ruby, sapphire. And this is during third gen, so you got like your like third gen Pokemon like roaming around doing bits. But the main premise of this game was you're watching TV with Pikachu, and there's like loads of different channels you can go through. And I think they started at different times. Correct me if I'm wrong on this.
I couldn't. Someone in the comments correct him if he is wrong.
But like it's like there's like a shopping channel, there's like an exercise channel and stuff, and like you just and there's a little short of like the Pichu Bros. You remember the Pichu Bros, like the yeah. There's like a little thing in there, and like there's like little like it isn't just watching TV though. You can go outside and you can like venture to different like areas, get on the bus with Pikachu, and like go to the seaside where you like I think you go fishing. I think you can go fishing. I might be wrong on that as well. It's been a while since I played it, but I did enjoy it. And then like it's like you can solve puzzles with them and stuff, and you discover other Pokemon at different times of the day, and it's like it's cool. It's like it's a cool little game. It's a fun, cute game. I can understand why it's like got a score of 55 though, because let's face it, it's not like the most thrilling game you can play. There's only so much of going outside watching TV and buying things on the Pokemon shopping channel that you can do.
Fair enough.
No, I enjoyed this, and there's even like if you plug your Game Boy Advance in and go to like a campsite, you can get a Jirachi as well.
Dude, that's cool.
I think in the US, I think you get it with Pokemon Colosseum. In the UK and Europe, I think if you've got Pokemon Channel, that's where you get the Jirachi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was one of those guys that's like, oh yeah, like come around my house, like connect your Game Boy Advance, you get free Jirachi. Like my mates are like, yeah, cool Jirachis. So because I'm the only one that had Pokemon Channel, so
Oh, we would have been friends back then too,
yeah.
because you would have helped me get a legendary Pokemon.
Do you still want it, Nathan? I still got the game. I can bring your Game Boy Advance around, get you a Jirachi, mate.
I'm honestly not that bothered anymore. But thank you for the offer.
The offer's still there, man. If you ever want a Jirachi, it's right there. Speaking of actually, I'm playing Pokemon Emerald at the moment on the Game Boy Advance. I could totally just get a Jirachi. I didn't even think about that. Sweet. I might just get it. Just play through. Anyway, yeah, cool.
Cool. Well, talking of Game Boy, there was a game that I think, technically didn't get in the UK, or we might have, but like it was hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a Shaman King game. It's called Shaman King Legacy of the Spirits Sprinting Wolf. I absolutely loved this game because it was basically Shaman King, but like Pokemon. So you would like run around an area, you'd have random battles. It was an RPG, and you would level up your spirits, and they were like you know, they had different affinities and stuff. So you had it was literally Pokemon, but Shaman King.
Yeah. Ah, okay.
And it was fucking awesome. But you could also like combine spirits to get new ones,
Okay.
or you could just like, you know, make your current one stronger. But like certain spirits, if you combine them, they turned into something new. And it was like this really, really cool game, but most people didn't actually get to play it.
It sounds like Persona.
In a way,
It sounds like very Persona-ish. Like I know obviously Persona's very story heavy and like is like roaming around dungeons and stuff. But like that's the kind of vibe you like I get from what you said about like the like sort of combining spirits and all that sort of stuff.
I mean, yeah, it shares a lot of like similar things, but it was literally like Shaman King Pokemon, and I absolutely loved it. But yeah, like the only reason I found it was because it was in some random like shop, you know, like owned by some random people. It they just happened to sell everything, you know. They got DVDs, they got handbags, they've got phones and SIM cards, and you're like, oh, for some reason they also sell Game Boy games. Let's have a look.
It's one of them. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's one of those like those shops that just like got random import games you wouldn't be able to find in your typical like game store or like.
Yeah, and you always wondered like how they got them, but you never asked the guy because he's probably got some shady dealings or something. And you're like, I'm just gonna buy the game for like 10 quid.
Yeah, yeah. This I don't know. Like I think that those like shops though back in the day, which just had those import games, which you wouldn't be able to find anywhere. Those are like a gold mine. Those would be like a checkbox list of like shops I wanted to go to as a kid. No, that sounds a cool game though. Like, do you say it was on Game Boy or Game Boy Advance?
Game Boy Advance. Sorry, I tend to by this point, you know, they're both so old, even though they are technically two separate things. I always just say Game Boy and leave it at that.
Yeah, that's fair. It's all like the same sort. It's all cartridge based in it, so
Does that mean the Switch is a Game Boy because it's got cartridge?
basically, yeah.
I wonder how many people we've just like pissed off.
Yeah, that's it. Switch is Game Boy. It's just a Game Boy you can plug in your TV. It's a Super Game Boy. That's what it is.
Oh man, I can't wait for the Super Game Boy Pro.
Super Game. Jesus Christ. Right.
Enough offending the masses. Well, I guess not really, because this whole episode could offend someone with just how poor the taste is.
Yeah, I'm interested if anyone actually like has played these games or just like, oh, cool, I enjoyed this as well. Like,
Surely some people have.
yeah, cool. Okay, I'm going to move forward a bit more on my timeline of games. So we're getting into more modern ones right now, for me anyway. I'm going to go for a 3DS game here. And in Japan, this actually came out as one single game. I'll say it's a One Piece Unlimited Cruise Special, which is basically, it's a remake of a Wii game, a One Piece game.
Did I watch you play this? I feel like I watched you play this one time when we were most likely supposed to be studying.
Possibly, yeah. Because I mean, I did have this game. I imported it when it came out in Japan, and in Japan at the time on the Wii, this came out as two separate games anyway. So this came out, 2000, maybe between 2008 to 2009, I think. It's somewhere in that area. Like these two games came out on the Wii, and eventually, I think we did get them in the UK on the Wii. They weren't like massively advertised. I think it was just a low key release. It's just like, hey, we just push these games out here. You can get them. Eventually, these games actually made their way onto 3DS. And in Japan, they didn't do the whole 2-part release thing. They released them as a single game. But in the UK and I think in the US as well, they didn't do that. So they split this game in two, like they did for the Wii version. But this time as well, like even though they imported it onto the 3DS, and it is basically the same game story-wise, they added a Marineford arc on top of it. So like it's like, oh, here's your new reason to buy this. Here's an extra. It's not as good. The Marineford arc isn't good as the main story mode, basically. Because in this game, you're Luffy and his crew, and you're adventuring around this island that you've just landed on, and there's a few different islands you can go to. You're beating up enemies that how do I explain this? Okay, so basically when Luffy and his crew get to this island, there's a manifestation of something like a god.
Okay.
And it's feeding off the crew's memories.
Okay.
And it's creating enemies that the crew remember. That's how basically you come across all these like enemies that come back. So each island probably has 2 bosses on it. It has like a medium boss and it's got a hard boss at the end. And there's like about 4 or 5 islands per game. So basically, if you had the whole collection, the 2-part collection, you're going across about 10 islands. And like you got like other mini games as well. You got like mini games, like side quests, like mining and stuff. You can go fishing. You can catch bugs, and you got like a whole Critterpedia, kind of like Animal Crossing, but you have like you're basically adventuring as One Piece characters at the same time and beating the shit out of Marines.
That'd be the weirdest the weirdest crossover. One Piece Animal Crossing.
I think that's what I loved about this game, though. It was just like it was so much fun to like one go and find these specific bugs in certain areas on the island and fill up your Critterpedia. There's like the fishing mini games are fun as well, like and you can catch different things. You can explore the Sunny. This game like lets you explore the whole Sunny basically and go into different parts of like the rooms in that. That was really fun. What I love about these games is it's a sense of adventure, and it's like if you're a One Piece fan, it's really cool to just see these things. Gameplay wise, I can understand why it's got such a low score. This scored 46 on Metacritic.
Ooh.
I understand why it's kind of that low if you consider the story mode. Like sometimes, basically, when you start off the game, you don't start off with all your characters' moves either. It's like a level up system. But I can understand why if you're not willing to put the time into it and you think it comes across quite boring, I can understand why people aren't a fan of it. I don't know. Me personally, I absolutely love this game. Like it's the fun of like catching every like, animal, like beating up on like some like cool One Piece baddies as well. Like, I think this went up to Kizaru. I think in the second game, Kizaru was like probably the biggest enemy. I think in terms of story. There were side bosses as well, which were harder. I think Garp's the hardest one in that game. Like that's like because you have to like get certain things to unlock these bosses as well, the side bosses anyway. It's just a fun game. I would encourage anyone to pick it up if they can.
I guess I'll just keep following you on your timeline. I want to mention on 3DS, it's always been quite a underrated series, funny enough. A game called Fossil Fighters Frontier.
Oh god, I've heard of this.
Like, Fossil Fighters is actually a really cool game. It's basically the premise is kind of like Pokemon in that there's a whole tournament and stuff set up and you want to be the best fossil fighter. The way you find your fossils though is you actually have to go to dig sites, like find fossils, dig out the bones from the rock, and depending on how well you clean, you get bonuses to your dinosaurs. And if you find the whole skeleton, like you get more bonuses. Like you don't just find the whole skeleton. It's like, oh, you found the skull, you found the rib cage, you found the leg, the tail. Like it was a really, really cool game, and it was like just not very well known. The fighting system was a very watered down Pokemon, so it was very rock paper scissors. Like I think it was, if I remember correctly, it's just like fire, water, grass, and maybe rock. So like there's only like 3 or 4 elements in it. It wasn't super advanced, but it was just a cool little game. It actually started way back on the DS. That Frontier, I think, was the last one that ever came out. I think there was some sort of Fossil Fighters on Switch as well, but it might be a re-release of Frontier. I'm not entirely sure.
Interesting. Okay.
But like Fossil Fighters is a really cool series, but yeah, it's just really underrated and really unknown.
Who is the developer for it?
I don't remember. I didn't note that down.
Yeah, because I feel like I do remember this game.
You probably saw it because I had it.
Yeah, I feel like I saw this like in stores as well. I remember like hearing about this game.
I remember distinctly. I took it for a trade-in at game, and the guy who served me scanned it and kept flipping the box. You know when you do that thing where you like look at the cover and then you look at the back, then you look at the cover, then you look at the back, and he was just staring at this thing for like a solid like 5 minutes, and then he was like looking at the computer, and then he looked up at me and went, "I've never heard of this game." He was like, I wasn't even sure if this was real. I'm not gonna lie. It's on our system, and it's in my hand, and I'm telling you, I never heard of this. I thought this was fake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it now. From the box art, you kind of do like think, oh yeah, this looks like a rip-off of some sort of Pokemon game. But like at the same time, is this like a rarer game? Like, is it like if you were to try and buy it now, would it be like quite pricey to try and find?
I don't know. I remember when I traded my copy and I got extra money because it was so rare.
I mean, the 3DS one seems quite easy to come across. It's only $8.99. But
yeah, I think the 3DS one is quite like, at least over here, it's like bargain one. DS one is super hard to find.
Yeah, because I'm like literally just looking up right now, and it's like 217 quid to try and get that game.
These are like underground like cult hits. Like only the people who know and have played are like, oh, these games are sick. But like everyone else is like, what the fuck is that?
It's surprising that. Okay, fair. I think that like because it's published by Nintendo as well. Well, obviously it would be published. But developed by Red Entertainment, Nintendo. Like it's one of those games that yeah, it just clearly fell off the radar. I think this has got like a song in Smash Bros. I feel like that's probably why I've heard it.
I think there's a trophy or something, or was a trophy or an assist or something. I can't remember because we don't play with items anymore. So
Yeah, I feel like there's a track. There might have been like some. There might have been a what do you call it? What are they called? Spirit.
yeah, I think there is. Yeah, yeah. There's a few spirits. I think there's two.
But no, fair enough. I mean, it looks quite fun from the box art.
I liked it. Like it literally is just like a little bit of everything. A little Pokemon, like a little Monster Rancher. It was fun.
Fair. Okay, cool. I'm gonna like keep in like mainline. I'm gonna keep in line with Nintendo consoles right now as well. I'm gonna say a game that's on 3DS and Wii U. So I'm combining these two here.
Okay.
Basically, they're the Pokemon Rumble games.
I have that noted down too.
Is it? Okay, cool. So I've got though down here Pokemon Rumble U, and we've got Pokemon Rumble Blast. So these games both scored under 60.
I also had the original one on Wii, just Pokemon Rumble. I believe that was like 60 and under as well.
With these games, I'd actually really enjoyed them. I think we talked about this in the past episode as well. I think it was the Pokemon episode.
Yeah, we definitely have spoken about these before. These are really cool. It's a shame what happened to it. The whole like trying to cash in on toys to like real life to game kind of things, like the whole Amiibo Skylanders kind of thing. And then like it morphed into a free to play mobile game.
Oh god, I didn't even play that.
I did for a little while. It's not good. It's like all the worst parts of the game, but made even worse now because you've got 5 lives. Every time you take a hit, you lost a life, or if every time you fail, you lost a life. You got to wait an hour for your next life.
I feel like the Pokemon Rumble series is kind of dead now. I can't see myself picking up another one. Like I think like for its time, like the Wii one was great. I loved playing the Wii one. Like you can vouch for that.
Oh, dude, I got addicted played it at your house and I immediately went home and bought it on my own Wii.
It was a good game. And then Rumble Blast was actually quite good as well. I actually really enjoyed that one on 3DS because there's all the stuff that was about Pokemon Rumble in the Wii version. And they were like, oh, we're going to beef up this like universe. So like there was a story behind it. Story is kind of shit. I'm not going to lie. The story behind Pokemon Rumble Blast is...
I didn't even remember it had a story.
Yeah, it was basically like I think the legendary swords in Pokemon Black and White, those things. I think they end up getting like shadow versions of themselves or something in the Pokemon Rumble universe, and like it was your goal or something to bring down the Shadow Rumble Pokemon. I don't know. I could be making that up, but it sounds right.
I mean, I don't remember it, so I just have to take your word on it.
But the whole premise of it was like, it's the same thing as the Wii one. You go around with your little toy Pokemon and you have your A and B buttons and you just smashing those, like trying to take out as many like swarms of enemies as possible. It was a good game. The 3DS one was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Yeah, it's like a nice pick up and play game. You don't have to think too much. Like, you put something on in the background, put your like favorite TV show on, like just like mash A and B, take out some toy Pokemon, you're sorted. But like, you're right though. The Wii U one kinda it did not deliver in terms of Pokemon stuff. I think weirdly enough, I bought the Wii U version an in-store. Obviously, like I bought like a physical copy of the game, so I got a box for it.
Weird. I didn't even know it had a physical copy.
Oh, it's one of those ones. It's not a physical copy of the game. It's like you get the box and you get a download code in it.
Oh.
It's one of those physical digital games.
Fuck that shit.
Where like you got the box, but you got a download code in it. And obviously because you bought it in store, you get 2 free little NFT things, little figures. But it's that classic like trying to get like your little figurines in any like sort of mystery box. It's the fact that you're gonna get like a load of shit ones and the rarer ones are gonna be like 1 in 25 or something like that. You know what I mean? So like I end up with I think I've got a few Litwicks, and then I think I put a fair bit of money down on these things, you know.
Back when they came out, I can't remember who it was. It might have been like Jaywitz or something. I think he did a video where he went into like his local GameStop and just bought the whole box. Like he got everything out of one box, but I don't know if that was like how the pull rate was supposed to work or if he just got really lucky. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like when like Max Mofo does his like sort of like mystery box things, isn't it? More often than not, he does get the whole collection when he does the box. It's like it's that thing. And I think I got a fair few legendary Pokemon from it. Actually. I got like a Mew, I got Jirachi, Genesect, Shaman. I'm just looking at him now because I'm just looking at my shelf. But there's obviously like a few like random ones as well. I got Lucario, Zoroark, Torchic, like a whole bunch of. I got a Pikachu. Pikachu looks cool. It's like a cubey, like little polygon Pikachu. Just sat on my shelf now. These things are cool to have, but like it's not where you want the Rumble game series to go. You don't want it to just be focused on these things. You want them to be like fleshed out games. And yeah, I think that the 3DS is where it peaked for me, basically.
Yeah, I could agree with that, especially because I had actually played the mobile version and hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Sticking with Pokemon, like another spin-off game that I really enjoyed that is commonly unliked is the Mystery Dungeon series. I actually really like those, and I know they can be fairly divisive in the fandom. Like again, it's one of those where people like the ones who play and enjoy it really like it, but everyone else is sort of like, I don't get it. But I've just always enjoyed them. Like ever since the first one, I played both versions, the Game Boy Advance one, Rescue Team Red and Rescue Team Blue, the DS version. I played both of those. I've basically played almost the entire franchise. I think the only one I'm missing one on 3DS, like the last one, I think is Super Mystery Dungeon. That's the only one I haven't played, and then like that's it.
You get a Switch one.
I didn't yet, but it's also just a remake of the first two, so I'm kind of like, I don't really need to get it, you know, because I played both of them, and I've still got my original copy of Rescue Team Red on Game Boy Advance, so I'm kind of like, I'm not really missing out.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's like I think I've tried to pick these games up multiple times. I just couldn't get into them personally. It's just not my preference. I think in terms of spin-off games, though, I feel like this is like one of the more successful Pokemon spin-off games they've done.
You'd have to, wouldn't you? It's got the most new versions. Like it's always got like a sequel, unlike a lot of the other spin-off games.
Like we were talking about this the other day, like just in a WhatsApp chat. And like there's so many like cool games, like spin-off Pokemon games that I'd really love to see like sequels or remakes of.
Yeah.
Mystery Dungeon seems to have like a fair few like follow-ups. Like, it must have like how many series in it? Like about I feel like it's like 5 follow-ups. I could be wrong.
5 or 6. I don't have them all noted down, and I don't remember how many were. I think on the DS there was at least, including the original ones, I think there was 4 of them,
Yeah.
and then there's 2 on the 3DS. So there's at least like 6 games in the entire series. And then you know if you want to include the Switch remake, that's 7.
It's fair, man. Like, there's got a fair few remakes. But I know there's people out there that really love these games, but me personally, I just couldn't get into them.
No, I understand that. It's because it's Pokemon, but it's like so different, and also like it locks away the most important part of Pokemon until like end game. But by that point, you really don't care. Like you can't evolve until you finished. It's always been that way. You can't evolve until you finish the game.
Interesting, yeah.
And I'm like, I spent ages getting here, but now there's nothing else to do, and I don't want to keep playing this game anymore because there's nothing else to do. So why would I care?
Yeah.
You should have just let me evolve from the start.
Now that you're just like talking about this, I feel like I remember the promotional anime around this. I don't know if you remember it as a kid, it was on TV. But there was like a special episode, like I think you know, like there was that series of there was like a Pokemon spin-off series, and it had like little one-off episodes where it follows certain characters from the anime or certain characters from the games.
Was that Pokemon Chronicles?
Pokemon Chronicles. Yeah, that's it. It's exactly that. And I think it must have been an episode of Pokemon Chronicles where like it's based on Mystery Dungeon.
Oh, okay.
And it's like the kid wakes up as a Squirtle, and he's like all the Pokemon are talking around him, and they're like all doing bits. And it's quite a cool episode from what I remember. I think the whole Pokemon Chronicles series was quite fun actually.
I never really watched it. That's quite interesting. I'd probably have to go back and look it up.
Yeah, like I remember at one point, like when I was like collecting those DVDs of like past series that I love, I was so close to buying the whole Pokemon Chronicles box set. But I got there and I was just like, I don't really want this. Like, it's one of those ones. I would love to go back and rewatch the series, but I'm not too fussed if I don't. Going back on track anyway. Yeah, mystery dungeon games. Like, I can understand the hype behind them. Okay. This is like the last game I have on my list.
Okay.
But it's gonna be one I think like I've talked to you quite a few times about this, Nathan, and I know for a fact that I know what the fandom think about this game.
Okay.
It's Jump Force.
Oh god.
Yeah. See, okay, like the whole concept of Jump Force is like my ideal game because I absolutely love jump crossover games. I've got like I'm probably like one of the biggest fan of like in general. I've played so many different ones, and Jump Force is a cool idea. It's a cool idea. Like they're trying to like they make it like a little bit gritty with the graphics or whatever. It's a bit more polished compared to J Stars and like well, it's the only real 3D jump game. The thing is with Jump Force is that for me it's taken away everything that I loved about J Stars Victory VS because I'm a massive fan of J Stars. Like that was like one of my biggest games back in the day. And the thing is, Jump Force isn't a terrible game. It's not terrible enough for me to not buy the Switch version of this jump game because I had it on PS4. I've got that special edition with like the Goku, Luffy, and Naruto statue because I'm a massive weeb. And so I got that, and I played through the game, and there's certain parts of it which are just like it's awfully written for one. Like the story of Jump Force is questionable. There's like you got like Light Yagami asking Goku about the Dragon Balls, and it's quite it's quite a surreal experience. I'll tell you that.
Interesting.
Kind of screams fan fiction at times.
I mean, that's what these games are, really.
Yeah, it's all fan fiction in there, and it's not gonna have the most amazing writing behind it. And honestly, the combat isn't the greatest either. But the thing I love about Jump Force and all jump games in general is the whole crossover thing, like the whole like jump heroes fighting against each other. I enjoy that. I didn't complete the PS4 version. However, I did complete the Switch version, and there's a lot more upgrades to it when compared to when the game first came out. They like done a few quality of life things. I remember the loading screens took like about I don't know, like 5 minutes to load. I think over exaggeration, but it felt like 5 minutes when when you're playing it. A lot of quality of life improves the game, and it's cool they've added DLC to it, and I do like the game. I do enjoy it. It could be some improvements, like make it more like J Stars. People gonna hate me for that. I think people preferred I feel like people prefer Jump Force over J Stars because like J Stars was more like a party game. It's like your Smash Brosy sort of thing where you got like it's 4 people going up against each other, whereas Jump Force is 1-on-1. So they're trying to make it more like a fighting game, but it doesn't really work as well in my opinion. But you got a whole load of cool characters in it. I feel like I've like said this to you so many times, Nathan, and you just disapprove every single time of this choice.
Look, I played the demo. I've heard the complaints. I've heard your complaints. And the fact that you still, for some reason, love this game baffles me to no end. I don't understand how you still like this game. But hey, we're not supposed to agree all the time. That's what this whole video is about.
I mean, this game isn't without its flaws. I'm definitely not going to deny that. I've listed a whole bunch of them just by describing it. But I think it's the premise of the game that I love, and the same with J Stars. It's the it's the all-star crossover games. It's like remember Project Cross Zone? Did you play them?
I do. I still have my copy of the first one, and it turns out that first game is very expensive right now.
Is it?
It is worth a lot of money, yeah, because apparently it's really rare.
I got that. I got that first one and the second one. Like I completed the first one, didn't finish the second one.
I didn't finish the first one. I didn't buy the second one. I wanted to, but I just never got around to it. But yeah, apparently a copy of the first Project X Zone is like super expensive.
It's definitely a game that I think is actually I think fans like that one. So it's not actually one that's on our list. But I was just using it as an example that of like, all the crossover games that are out there. It is one of those ones that I love compared to Jump Force. Jump Force is good, doesn't meet the same level as other crossover games. Yeah, it's still on this list of the games I like. So I'm playing devil's advocate to a lot of this. Yeah.
Okay, I've got no opinions on that game. So I'm just gonna move on.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I guess I'll leave it off with one final game, and I've got a lot left to talk about, but I think I'm just going to pick this game because I want more games from this franchise. On the Xbox 360, the Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage series, I absolutely loved. It was a Fist of the North Star Warriors game. I loved them. Apparently, people didn't. Because both of them, 1 and 2, were both under 60 on Metacritic. I could understand the first one maybe not being so popular because it was kind of there were some strange choices. Like the combat was pretty much the same, but there wasn't a lot of characters and there wasn't a lot of unlockable characters. And I think there was the choice, but I used English voiceover. But whoever the voice director was really wanted them to sound Japanese when they said a name. So I always remember like the cutscene where Ken breaks into King or Shin's castle to save Yuria, and he's like, "Yuria, it's me, Kenjiro." Like for some reason, they always put really heavy Japanese pronunciation on the names, and it just always made me laugh.
I think I picked up Ken's Rage, the first one.
I was probably recommending it to everyone at the time.
I think it was. I think it was one of those ones where like they had a demo out for it as well. I feel like demos back in the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 days were a lot more common.
Yeah.
Like I played the demo. I actually quite enjoyed it. So I picked so much that I did pick it up because I do remember playing this. I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of Fist of North Star because I've never actually got a chance to watch the series properly. I just played this game. I got basically grasping at straws of what the story is from the little paragraphs they give you in between fights.
Yeah.
As far as a Dynasty Warriors game goes, it wasn't a bad game.
The second one was much better because the first one only basically goes halfway through the first half of this story. It only goes up to where Kenshiro fights Rao at the end. That's actually only half of the Fist of the North Star franchise. The second one, annoyingly, doesn't go through like the first parts, but it goes through the second half. So it's almost like you had to buy both games if you didn't know the story, but you wanted to learn it through these games. But the second one had like way more characters, and it was a much cooler game because it had a lot of the like Nanto generals. It included a lot of like the I don't want to say lesser known, but like again, a lot of the Nanto generals that sort of just turn up.
If you could, then would you rather see a sequel to Ken's Rage, or would you rather see a Fist of North Star game in the because they did the Yakuza, the guys that did Yakuza, like they made it.
I would like a sequel to both. Because they're different for one. For the Ken's Rage series, I'd like one, but like one game that is essentially both of them smashed together, goes through the whole story. It's got all the characters.
So you'd buy like a collection, yeah, like a collection basically.
It may be a compilation, but I'm talking like maybe a third one that is literally just like goes through all of it, slightly improved quality of life stuff, blah 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 blah. And then I actually do want a sequel to fuck, what was it called? I think like Lost Paradise or something. I have that game. You think I'd know? I want a sequel to that because that has no semblance. Like it's not canon. It's got nothing to do with the actual story of Fist of the North Star. It just has the characters.
Did that go down well with the fans?
So it sort of did and didn't because some of the fans are like, "Oh, this is just very loosely Fist of the North Star," and other fans were like, "Oh, this isn't Yakuza enough."
Yeah. Okay.
The main complaint was mostly that people were like, "This is just Yakuza, but with Fist of the North Star skinned over." To me, it was perfect because I was like, "I'm a fan of Yakuza. I'm a fan of Fist of the North Star."
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, this is great. I get to go around on my Wamoshinderu and, fucking make cocktails as well in a stupid mini game that was really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to see a sequel to that one as well, but that might not ever happen again. The Fist of North Star franchise is like it's so strange. I think it's too violent for the modern day, but it's also like people remember it, but only the people who know of it.
Yeah.
And otherwise it's like it's just a pachinko machine. Like when we were in Japan in 2019, I saw so many pachinko machines, and every time I
Yeah.
died a little inside because one of my favorite franchises is just this fucking gambling pinball machine.
Oh man, that's funny. I think that's the thing. Like, doesn't the creator have another series as well? And that's also heavily featured on pachinko machines.
Yes, again, it's sad what it became because Fist of the North Star is so cool.
Okay, so Nathan, just to round this up quick, out of all the games that we've listed so far, you can choose one to get a sequel or remake of. What one would you choose?
Oh, you cheeky devil. Yeah, that's a hard question. What do I want? You know what? I'm gonna go completely. Probably no one would see this coming, considering I just spoke about Fist of the North Star for almost like 5 to 10 minutes straight. I actually want a sequel to the Shaman King game,
Yeah.
but like on a modern console. So it's like 3D. Unfortunately, it probably would be a little bit too much like Persona, but I'd love to see that, especially what with Shaman King having a new anime. It's like the time to come back and make games for it.
I mean, if the anime is big enough, if it hits hard like Kimetsu no Yaiba has, I reckon they could get a game for it. I don't know if it'd be that game necessarily, but
Okay, well, maybe not a sequel to Legacy of the Spirits, but like a spiritual successor. Haha, pun unintended. Yeah, I'd love to see a sequel to that on on the Switch or PlayStation, or I mean, it's Japan, so not really Xbox, but Xbox. Like on something. I'd like to see that. What about you? What would you get a sequel to?
it's a tough one. Like if it was younger me, I think I'd definitely want a sequel to the what was it? The One Piece Unlimited Cruise games. But I didn't realize that sequels did come out for him. It was Unlimited World Red, and I hated it. So I'm not gonna say that.
Oh God, that was garbage. I had that.
I hated that game. I absolutely hated it. It took everything that I loved about the Unlimited Cruise games and just destroyed it. I think that if I was to get a sequel to anything, I love a sequel to Jump Force, but they do some heavy improvements to it. One, they add characters from the whole Jump universe, like including some maybe comedy characters, like Gintoki and like Suna isn't in Jump Force, which really annoys me. He's so cool with a character. Suna's cool. He's not in it. And like Tanjiro, he'd be cool in it. Like there's some extra characters thrown in Jump Force. I think as well. This probably isn't going to be a sequel. This is going to be me revamping the game completely. But I'd love to see a jump game in the style of Fighters.
Okay, so you basically just making a whole new game, yeah, for sure.
I want Marvel versus Capcom, but with jump characters.
I thought you were just gonna basically turn it into a sequel, like the true sequel we should have got from J Stars, but you're talking different, man.
I love the J Star sequel as well. Yeah, I just want a completely different game. This isn't even like a sequel one. Yeah, I'd say that. Pokemon Channel would be cool as well. I'd love to see a Pokemon Channel, like some form of that come back. It'd be interesting to see.
No, I don't think something like that could work anymore. Like, that kind of weird shovelware kind of loosely is a game. Like, I had a game on my list that technically you didn't even play, but I didn't mention it. And I'm not going to, not even as an honorable. But yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Do you know what? Dark Horse. I want a sequel or a complete remake of Hey You Pikachu, because I never got to play that game. I've only seen videos, but I really wanted that as a kid.
It sounds fun. I don't know I don't know what it's about because I haven't seen any footage of Hey You Pikachu.
Basically, this Pikachu is a wild Pikachu. It just happens to hang around at your house a lot for some reason. Like it just likes you and your house. So then you go off to different areas, and Pokemon have like, oh, I need this. I want to do a picnic. Like a Bulbasaur is like, oh, I want to make something for a picnic. But you and Pikachu have to go and find it.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a lot of little things like that, but basically you're supposed to just scream commands at Pikachu. But because it was early technology, it didn't work. So most of the time you spent it's called Hey You Pikachu for a reason, because you spent most of your time going, Hey Pikachu, hey Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu.
Dear God.
And it would literally be like, I remember the magazine I had, it was like, oh, you can tell Pikachu to Thunderbolt and it'll do it. Like, if they made it come across that you would give a command and it would do it, but it didn't actually work. But that's why I'm like, a modern version could be cool because, voice recognition and so much, like, technology's evolved so far. So
I'm gonna say this right now as well. I just hate voice recognition in games in general. I hate it. It never works out the way. It never works out the way. Because I remember a Mario Party game had it, and it just like. I dislike those mini games because you have to plug the mic in. It's so much effort. And it's like,
yeah,
I don't like it. Voice recognition sucks.
It does. It does.
Right. On that note, I feel we'll end the episode there. Thank you for watching, guys. Again, any final words, Nathan?
Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, hit that bell button to get notified on our next video, and don't forget to leave a comment on what you think about our tastes.
What he said. Nice one. Catch you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.